Hi there, thank you for being here. I have a great conversation with the brilliant Jeff Jarvis coming right up for you. Thank you for all of the very kind notes and messages yesterday encouraging me to eat magic mushrooms, do psilocybin with my daughter, Ava, who's 21, but unfortunately, looks like it's not going to happen. There's just too much to do before she leaves, and she's a bit overwhelmed, and we need the time to run errands and pack and do everything she needs to do before she leaves for a year. So unfortunately, priorities have taken over. It will happen, and I really appreciate all the messages that I got. I'm disappointed that, in a way, not for me and Ava, but that I can't share with you the experience and the results, but it will happen. And maybe before I do it with her, I'll do it with somebody else. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, that was a fun misfire. I apologize. Slightly embarrassed that I announced it before I did it, but I guess I wanted your support, and it was nice to get it. Okay, well, as a result of hanging out with my girl today and yesterday, I'm not going to be able to do a news segment probably both days because it takes hours of work. And last night I stayed up to watch the Knicks lose for the first time in a very long time, and everybody is blaming Obi-Wan Kenobi, who showed up at the game last night and got booed during the anthem. People booed during the anthem because they showed him on the screen. I'm sure you saw it. My social media timelines, feeds, were all about that for a brief period of time last night. Also, yesterday, Israel and Iran paused fighting after a day of tit-for-tat strikes. Count Flatula called Benjamin Netanyahu and asked him to stop, apparently. We'll see if that holds. Ceasefire doesn't mean anything. Kevin Richburg sent me a long text this morning about how we have to figure out an expert, have somebody on who can explain what the hell ceasefire means, because he thought it meant ceasing fire. The brief fight shows that Israel is in a bind. The New York Times Jerusalem bureau chief says apparently beholden to Trump and also up against an Iran unafraid to restart the war. A U.S. Army helicopter gunship went down near the Strait of Hormuz. It had 2 crew members. They were both rescued. Back here at home, the second runoff spot in the Los Angeles mayor's race went to progressive councilwoman Naida Rahman. She beat Spencer Pratt, and we won't have to hear about him anymore, at least for a little while. Way too much time was spent talking about that guy. I spent very little time, proudly, talking about that guy. Today is primary day in several states, Maine, Nevada, and South Carolina, and Maine Graham Plattner seeking the Democratic Senate nomination. So we'll know a lot more about that tonight. A federal judge in Massachusetts yesterday struck down the $100,000 fee imposed last year on H-1B visas for highly skilled workers. In a 42-page response to a lawsuit brought by 20 Democratic states, the Obama appointee, Judge Leo Sorokin, agreed with plaintiffs who argued the fee imposed by Trump's executive order in September amounted to an authorized tax, an unauthorized tax, as opposed to a regulatory payment, as the administration contended. Well, of course. See if that holds up in higher courts. We also have this new lawsuit seeking to halt the UFC Freedom 250 event that's scheduled for this coming weekend, calling it deeply corrupt, arguing that it runs afoul of federal regulations. The plaintiffs are an activist and a Vietnam War veteran. Also should mention that the regime discarded this very scary plan last week that would have classified 2.7 million living people, including some U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents, as dead as part of an immigration enforcement efforts, according to a former senior Social Security executive. So that scary plan is gone. If you'd heard about it, you might not have heard that it had been discarded. Well, there you go. Senate Democrats urge the Trump administration to halt production of a commemorative 250th anniversary solid gold coin that would bear his image, citing concerns that some of the U.S. mint's gold could have links to foreign cartels. What about just the fact that they were going to put his face? How is that even legal? Well, doesn't matter, right? And a judge in Washington tossed a lawsuit filed by the JFK for Performing Arts Center against a jazz musician who canceled a performance at the venue's annual Christmas Eve concert last year after the center's board added Trump's name to the building. So that case has been dropped, and that is good news as well. The USDA will speed up efforts to fight screwworm, which is a parasitic fly recently found in Texas livestock. The United States had declared it eradicated in the 1960s, but I think RFK Jr. brought it back in his own body. It was just in there, and he took it out, and then he put it in a cow, and now we have to get rid of it as well. And, of course, as I said, Trump watched from a luxury box. The crowd booed, and then the Knicks lost for the first time in several games, and the first time in this series or in the playoffs in like 10 games or 12 games or something like that. So also the refs, they're being blamed as well. All right, those are the headlines that I've gathered quickly for you here on a Tuesday morning. Sorry if I missed any. I always want to hear from you. StandUpWithPete@gmail.com. StandUpWithPete@gmail.com for all of your questions and concerns. And this is an ad-free show. I can't do it without you. Thank you for your paid subscription. Go to patreon.com/PeteDominic right now and sign up, or else we cannot keep it going. Sign up now, or you can edit your pledge up if you want to pay more. If you're getting more, really appreciate it. And thank you very much. All right, let's get to it with Jeff Jarvis. He's got a new book coming out. Very excited about that. We talked about it very briefly at the end. I'll link to it in the show notes. But you know him, he's a journalist, he's a professor, he's a critic of all kinds of things, and we love him. Follow him and support him on all the social media and at Buzz Machine, his blog, and let's do it right now with the great and always awesome good friend of mine and the show, Jeff Jarvis. Well, I'm happy to talk to you about all the important things that I want to discuss with you. There's plenty of issues, obviously, always, as we go day by day, living in the sociopathy of Donald Trump's brain. Every single day we live with him and his choices. And just when you want to expunge him or not think about him, he inserts himself. Tonight, the Knicks game. We're so excited about the New York Knicks, and it's game 3, and now he's got to show up for that. He's got to be everywhere. And how much longer, Jeff? How much longer will our national nightmare?
Maybe, the dream is that the booing is so extreme that he gets apoplexy and keels over.
Well, nobody's going to be having fun anywhere around the Madison Square Garden because they shut everything down.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, from 5th Avenue to 8th Avenue, and I think like 32nd to 36th Street. How do you get to your train? What if you're just pure commuter? You've ended your long work day. I don't know how you get to your train.
Well, most people will be listening after this, and hopefully they got their train. But I'm hearing a lot of people say the thing that we used to hear in the first term, but we're hearing it even more now. He's losing his grip. Oh, yeah. It's not guaranteed. He doesn't
not
have
that he had it very firmly in the first place.
What do you make of that type of rhetoric? He's losing his grip. He's losing his supporters. People don't like this $5-6 gas.
Yeah, his cultists are still, they're not going to leave. The question is, are the fools who voted for him last time, who knew they shouldn't have, will they be sensible enough to change or at least stay away this time? But I hope not stay away. I hope they vote the other way. I hope they say enough of this. But how Hispanic voters and some black voters ever went for him, I don't know. How educated voters went for him, I'll never understand.
How anybody went for him twice, it will always be outrageous. But now we see what he has wrought. What has he done so far? What has this administration done for anybody? Nothing. I think they've just enriched themselves, and that's at everybody else's expense, it would seem. What do you make of just all these vanity projects? Don't you think that that's a narrative that is probably also catching on? He's sitting there holding up pictures of fountains, and it's like, let them eat cake, and the rest of us are going, are you like, how could he possibly think he's going to pull that off?
I think it's part of his dementia. I think that's the only thing he knows is being a builder. It's like Bob the Builder. It's Don the Builder. And this is what I know to do, and this is what I'm known for, is I can get a pool painted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did he get it painted?
Yeah.
He talked about how long of a pool it is, and he showed it on a.
That was just insane. But everything he does is insane.
But the thing
is, nobody says it.
Something that nobody, like I saw somebody finally make it, mention him. It's like, he didn't lengthen the pool. He's acting like it's the longest, but he didn't make it that long. It's always been that long.
Yes.
He just colored it.
If I painted the Empire State Building, it'd be less paint than that. Yeah, he's nuts.
Well, let's just talk a little bit more about the latest. Yesterday, he stormed off of Meet the Press, and let me just read the greatest description of that from some guy on Threads I'd never heard of. called At the Voice You Heard. He writes, Donald Trump, a 79-year-old embarrassment whose mind and body are withering before our eyes, bloated and brittle, more heavily sprayed than an ocean liner, was subjected to a bit of journalism, whereupon he gingerly heaved his sagging bulk skyward, lurched forward and staggered, back hunched, knees bent slowly, awkwardly, away from the truth and towards the death we all see advancing on him like a Komodo dragon waiting for its water buffalo to collapse. Or, if you must, he stormed out. And then somebody else said, what color is he? And the answer was Ku Klux Tan.
Ooh, I like that. The color was particularly noticeable on that one.
Yeah, he was really bright.
It was so ridiculous. There was straw, like he was going to shit in the straw.
Why was there the farm setup was a little
around there?
Over the top,
around him, mop it up. Kristen Welker is not normally exactly tough. But she did go after him about the voting and wasn't there. That's fine. And she pissed him off. And then I wonder what you thought when afterwards. But I flew all the way here just to see you. Seemed a little pathetic, didn't it?
I felt that way at first. On its face, it seemed real. Try hard, pick me. But then I was like, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe she thought that was going to work. But no, it just looked sad, a little sad.
It's kind of sad. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
In a way, anybody. She knew what she had. She knew that he got up and stormed out. She knew that was going to be the talk of yesterday too. Not that she forced it, but
well, it was weird. She promoted it, or her people promoted it on the socials, and they mentioned we had a substantial interview about all these other topics. Didn't even mention that. That's the news. What should happen is when he refuses to answer the question, or when he's like that, she should have said, "This is over. This is unproductive. This is over." But of course, that's never going to happen.
Right.
Never going to.
And now they've rescheduled it. I think they're going to.
No.
I think she said they're going to pick it back up. And maybe I'm wrong about that. I think she said, I'm almost positive she said, we've rescheduled. But more importantly, I want to ask you about rescheduling. They've also rescheduled the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And what do you think of the White House?
No, 1,000 times no. The dinner, I've been one of those who's been yelling for a decade. Kill the damn thing. It's access. It's suck up. It's just ridiculous. It shouldn't exist. The amount of money that it raises for scholarships is de minimis, so stop hiding behind that. That's not the point. The point is you go wear your tux, sit next to celebrities you shouldn't invite, you shouldn't be close to, and play grown-up for a night. Stop. And the fact that they rescheduled it is just unpardonable. Awful.
I fully agree, and I also think that anybody that goes is kind of making themselves look so bad. Yes. It was bad enough the first time, but if they go to this one, it's not at the Hilton, it's somewhere else. The Waldorf. I don't know. It's
ridiculous. The thing I had never heard, I wanted to hear last time, what was Pete Hegseth drinking?
Why do you say that? Is he acting weird?
Because supposedly he was going to stop drinking, and there's all the wine around. I wanted somebody just to have eagle eyes on him. What's he pouring?
God, he would be dumb to drink in person.
He would be, but he brought 6 kids to D-Day, 2 of whom were dressed in army fatigues and camo.
His own children?
His own kids
were in uniform?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were, just little kids.
He then pissed everybody off.
Yeah.
In his speech.
Yeah.
He compared the wave of immigrants coming to Europe to the Nazis, and the French were like, I don't think so. I think it's different. And then he also yesterday he stepped in shit twice. Apparently the Defense Department announced now there's only like 33 religions, and like most of them are versions of Christianity, except for the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, and Republican Mike Lee is really mad. He tweeted like 33 times mad about it. What about the Mormons, Jeff?
Good. The more they step in it, the better.
Yeah, exactly. The more overt he comes off as a Christian nationalist, even minimizing, marginalizing other forms of Christianity, probably good in the long run.
Yeah. Well, what was it? The Justice Department just fired people who had done a report on Catholic extremism.
Oh, God, really? They
Which
just
is
did
our
that?
Supreme Court, by the way. But
yeah. Good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about CBS News. CBS News. That's how Dan Rather said. CBS News. And it is on fire. It is dying. They are killing it. Scott Pelley, very dramatic. I listened to the whole New York Times interview because you told me to on the social media. So I listened to it. I thought it was good. He got very emotional, and all the emotions. He was angry. He was sad. He sounded scared. He was so frustrated and disappointed.
He welled up in his eyes. He cried.
Yeah. And so what do you make of what's gone on at 60 Minutes or CBS News overall?
So it's dead. It's dead show walking, dead network walking. We know it's dead, and we know that Barry Weiss was sent in to kill it. It was retribution for Trump. any stories that say, well, maybe she's going to, Dylan Byers says, can Barry fix CBS? Can Barry fix 60 Minutes? Shush. No. And I forget what it was, I think it was the FT said she was there to modernize it. Just give me a break. She's there to kill it. That's the whole point. Let's be honest about it. She's even doing that badly. She could have she's using a dull knife. But we know that CBS is doomed. We know that it's over. But we just have to watch the torture go on. And Nick Bilton, I used to know. He's always been a hubristic jerk.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay. How did you know him? He was a
tech columnist for the Times. And he would call me, I don't know well, but he would call me once in a while to go over something. My favorite episode was when Google Glass came out. And he was I think he was at Google I.O., where this one guy named Robert Scoble, who loves to do all the tech stuff in an exhibitionist way, walked into the men's room wearing Google Glass. And Nick freaked out. Jeff, isn't this awful? Isn't this terrible? And I had to say, Nick, no one wants a picture of your junk. And he thinks they do. The ego of it. He has no management experience, no television experience. His opening email was insulting as hell.
Yeah.
He knew what he was walking into. If he wasn't a weasel, he took the weasel job, ergo he's a weasel, as one blog post put it. So he's awful. They had already fired Tanya Simon, whose family had been involved in the network for 2 generations.
Right.
They did it unceremoniously, as Scott Pelley made clear. They got rid of the people who allowed Anderson Cooper to have his say on the air. They got rid of correspondents who dared to do journalism. And then I think Pelley was fully in his rights. I think some people said that he was being
pompous or arrogant or
no, he was a hero. He was defending. For once, someone was defending what journalism is.
I mean, I related to that a lot, just given my career. Like when you're the name, when it's your name on the radio show, when it's your channel, when you're the veteran in this space, you do have to step up, but a lot of times people are scared to. They don't want to. They got so much skin in the game. They don't want to lose their job. They're terrified to. And then who is going to step up if not you? And so, going out the way he did I have so much respect for that, and several other people who have done the same thing. And I think corporate media to some extent, although no one seemed to have done as obvious, at least not that I know of a job of it. Maybe no one was as high profile.
Karen T at the Washington Post, I think, did, and she sued them, and she had her hearing.
Well, she just wrote a column, though. Did she go out speaking? Did she ever get an opportunity to defend herself?
I think she's been saying on the socials. I think there are some others, but where is the person of the New York Times who's openly questioning what their judgment is? Where are the people at Sinclair TV? Where are the people elsewhere? There aren't enough Scott Pelleys.
Right.
And they should be talking about immigrants and about black people and about women and long before they talk about journalists. But if they won't even talk about journalists, if they won't even scream about that, what's happening to their own field, then we're lost. So I thought Pelley was great. The only thing I thought in the Times interview is if folks out there who haven't watched it, I do recommend it. It's a full hour. But he was credulous about the Paramount takeover. Oh, I thought Ellison was a good guy. I thought this could be good. And that is partly a commentary on how awful Redstone must have been. But hell, he knew what Ellison was.
I'm surprised. He sounded a bit either naive or dishonest in his decision. He was, I don't know why he would try to be where everybody else, you didn't have to have you could have an open mind, but then look and see what it was. Everybody at CBS knew that they gave a handout to the president, that they bowed to him. And by the way, CBS, not only 60 Minutes, their flagship news program, on fire, but also Colbert. I mean, 2 of the highest profile shows, the highest profile shows on the network outside, I guess, their morning show, which nobody knows who's on that outside of Gail King. And their nightly newscast, I think, is in the dump. I mean, what is left of the network itself? Why trash the whole thing? Why wouldn't they want to make money with it? I guess it was all about making the deal for the merger for Paramount.
But the best thing the head of John the Baptist that you could deliver on the platter was CBS. Trump wanted retribution. It wasn't just a matter of taking it over. You had to kill it to give Trump his vengeance. And that's what they've done.
Are they killing it, or are they just remaking it with entirely different people but the same branding? You still got that stopwatch, but it's Scott Baio is the anchor, and the other correspondents are conspiracy theorist bro podcasters.
Right, I'm trying to look up.
There was a rumor that they were going to hire Joe Rogan, and I was like, It was never true because Joe Rogan never would have done that.
No,
would have been the dumbest thing in the world.
I'm trying to find, there was a Times pitch bot, if I can find it quickly, that was just brilliant in this way. I'm not going to find it, of course. I should have looked it up beforehand. Here we go. I'm Kid Rock. I'm Naomi Wolf. I'm Kanye West. I'm Matt Taibbi. I'm Cat Turd. Those stories plus Rob Schneider tonight on 60 Minutes.
Oh, that's great. That's very funny. I like that a lot.
Great pitch bot.
Pitch bot. Well done.
No, I don't think. Well, for one thing, the audience of CBS and 60 Minutes is very old as I am. They're dying. There's no future there. I don't think they want to take it over and remake it and garner its value. I think that they don't care if they kill it. The deal they wanted was never news, really. What they wanted was the showbiz piece, and they're going to screw that up too. They're promising to make more movies. They're going to make more low-budget, crappy movies. They're going to churn out volume. It's going to be awful.
I want to move on from CBS and ask you about...
Let me ask one more question.
Sure. Yeah.
What did you think of the decision of the three folks who decided to stay, Leslie Stahl, Bill Whitaker, and John Wertheim? So they decided to stay to fight for 60 Minutes. What did you think of that?
I think it's a fine decision.
You do?
Yeah, because I think I like to have people inside to report on what they're doing. Hopefully they do the same thing. They tell the story. They keep a journal. They keep a diary. They keep a log of things. They have a certain, obviously, Leslie Stahl and Bill Whitaker have a certain gravitas in the hallways, and I just assume that they stay. I get it. I think it's a smart thing. I'm glad they're there so that they can blow the whistle and tell us the rest of the nonsense that happens. I'm sure they will eventually. I could see arguments against it, but that's my take.
Yeah, for once we disagree. I think they're quislings.
What is I don't know what a quisling means.
Quisling was the premier of Norway in the Nazi times. Who went along with the Nazis. And they know what's going to happen. There's no hope of rescuing it. There's no hope of defending it. Haven't they seen enough? How much stronger would have been if they say we don't want any of this on us. We leave. I think there's nothing left of 60 Minutes. Whatever you see in the future ain't 60 Minutes. It's whatever these dolts are going to create. I think it would have been much stronger.
What about my point of them documenting the fire from inside?
Will they? Will they know what's being done to them? Will they know when decisions are made behind Barry's office door that they don't know about as to what stories get on the air and don't? I think that they've shown that their credulity will win the day, and it's going to have to now be worse than what they did to Scott Pelley for them to walk out.
2 New Jersey stories I want to ask you about.
Okay.
What is going on at Delaney Hall? I feel like it was all eyes on Delaney Hall last week, and then this week I haven't heard much. That could be me or what's happening. And easier and as important maybe, what happened to the congressman there? You're a New Jersey man, and I have 2 New Jersey questions for you. Where is Tom Keene?
So that's my district.
Where is your congressman?
It's ridiculous. He's always been hiding. He wouldn't do town halls. Every time I drive to the Wegmans, there's a house that has, for the last 2 years, has had signs up, "Where is Tom Keene?" He's always hidden. We've had demonstrators go to the offices of his congressional office saying, "Where are you? Where are you?" He always hides. He's not at all articulate. He's really odd in person. But now this disappearance is absolutely ridiculous. And Trump endorses him when he's got nobody running against him. He claims victory when he had nobody running against him in the primary. My hope is that Rebecca Bennett will be now an easy win over him, knock wood, and we get rid of him. We got him because when Jersey lost population and had to change districts before gerrymandering, they had to sacrifice one district, and they sacrificed mine. And that's how we lost Tom Malinowski, and we got Kane. And the last candidate 2 years ago wasn't very good. Sue Altman, she came in 5th running in the district of the South, so she wasn't a strong candidate. Some dirty money came in and attacked Rebecca Bennett, who is the nominee of the Democrats, just awfully. One mailing I got at the House, they tried to accuse her of having been a Republican and having invested in Palantir. And one photoshopped, you don't even need AI to this, they just photoshopped a MAGA hat on her and mailed that to homes. Wow. It was an awful campaign. And the second candidate was just odious. So I hope that we can win, but in the meantime, we don't have a congressman right now.
Will Powers, my friend Will, says he's a rehab. What's the rumor? What's the scuttlebutt?
There's various rumors. One is rehab. One is a brain tumor or something bad medically. Another is that he knows he's a disaster. He's hiding and was hiding until some respectable moment after the primaries. Then he'll drop out, and the Republicans will pick a better candidate to put in his place.
It's crazy.
So then, I wasn't a big Mikey Sherrill backer for governor.
Yeah, Governor Mikey Sherrill took a real beating last week. Criticism.
She deserved to. But when she got in office, she was doing a lot of good things. She was appointing good people. She was doing good things. She was fighting Trump. And then when she said she was going to put the state police in Delaney Hall, or in the front of Delaney Hall, I thought it was to protect the protesters and free speech. It was the opposite. They did the job of ICE. It's been terrible. And yes, I know they've been provoked, but that's what people do to cops. And they know that, and they're trained for that. But they've done a terrible job, and she then, didn't listen to the criticism and fought back against it, and she's hurting herself. She's hurting herself badly, I think.
Yeah, it seems like a real self-inflicted wound there. It seems like a pretty easy choice. I know it's complicated, and you have
it is.
different
and it's a long time till her next election, so I think she'll. This won't last.
You have several layers of law enforcement, but it seems like Minnesota handled it really well, and other states have as well, where local and state are on one side of it kind of, or, watching and being very careful, and then you've got the feds coming in and you can identify them pretty easily. So, and
it was even the Newark police, when the Newark police.
That Newark mayor got beat up as well.
Ali Velshi went after him.
Yeah, I saw that. It was really good.
Because, Ali was on the street, and I've driven by Delaney Hall tons of times.
Okay.
It was my back route if, the turnpike was backed up. I know that geography really well, and they had backed up Ali Velshi a good half mile away, under a hill. You couldn't see anything then. And he went after the mayor and said, "What are you doing? I'm pressed. I should be there." And the mayor admitted that they were wrong to do that. But so you had Newark police, who was, a lot of white cops there, and you had state police, both doing the job of ICE. Not smart on either hand.
Okay, let's move on to, we'll see what happens with that detention center. I mean, wherever these places are, people are generally outraged by it and different levels of protest.
The other thing just to mention, why do they have to name it like a dorm?
Delancey Hall. Where do you live? All guys.
Oh, look, should we go have dinner in Delaney Hall? Yeah, there's a kegger in Delaney Hall.
They're not eating. They're on a hunger strike in Delaney Hall, and that was part of what sparked this, obviously. All right, I got to ask you about this. What is this new book that Vance's Murdoch book? And
so Vance has his
next
autobiography coming out.
J.D. Vance has a new autobiography.
Right. And it's published by HarperCollins, which is owned by Murdoch. And then the Wall Street Journal ran an excerpt of it, owned by Murdoch, in which he praises, what's his name? Charlie Kirk as his best buddy, as the most wonderful person on earth. And, obviously, because it's J.D. Vance, no mention of all the odious things that Kirk has said and done in his life, because you can't say that anymore. You're not allowed to. That'd be woke. And it's just, Jesus, Vance is terrible. Every time we think maybe Trump will keel over in apoplexy, then we got Vance. And that doesn't make me feel Vance is in the pockets of Peter Thiel and company. And Vance, he's an extremist.
But he commands nobody and nothing.
True, but he could command that office for 2 years.
Vice President J.D. Vance credits the assassination of Charlie Kirk to the reason he and his wife, Second Lady Usha Vance, decided to have a fourth child.
Yeah, that too. The natalism that's going on all over is really because the New York Times had a column, 2 columns this week. One was how having babies makes you a better man. It's really up to the woman in the end, don't you think? That's awfully self-centered of manhood to say the reason we're going to have babies is so I'm going to improve myself. And then they had another one about how violent fighting is good for you as a dad. All of the natalism stuff that's going on these days is driving me nuts. There was a column.
I'm looking up these columns. I didn't hear about the having babies makes you a better man. Is that? Yeah. Was that? Who wrote that?
I can't remember. It was ridiculous.
I mean, it's true. But it's not the reason to.
It's the weirdest kind of
behind every dad. Is it behind every dad bod is a healthy dad brain? Is that it?
Is that the one? I can't remember. Maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. So I do this obnoxious show off thing every once in a while with you, Pete. I was reading Die Zeit.
Oh, here we go.
Germany.
Some German.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And there was there was a really good column the other day. I haven't written about it yet. When somebody said we have to get around to redefining progress. And it harkens back to the Industrial Revolution, when obviously the Gilded Age, industry, power, capital, all of that forced us to rethink. But a lot of things came out of that. Progressivism came out of that. Welfare state came out of that. And now the notion of progress is being defined by AI companies. And I'm a nerd, and I think AI does some cool things. But the last people I want running our world or deciding how to define the future is the obnoxious AI boys. There are some good people in the field, and there are some terrible people in the field. And we're about to see these gigantic IPOs coming, where Musk thinks his company is worth $1.8 trillion. We're going to see.
Why are we seeing several AI IPOs happening at a similar time? Why is that happening?
It's a great question. I think they're all just grabbing for the money that's out there. They know there's money to be had, and they're trying to race each other to it. So you have Anthropic, and now OpenAI has been teasing its. Anthropic announced its IPO. SpaceX, which is just so ludicrous to me, it's not a real company, announced theirs. And then Google came in and said, hey, guess what? We're going to go out and sell $80 billion worth of stock, because they all need the money to build these data centers, to buy these chips. And they think that scale is the way that they're going to get to artificial general intelligence.
By the way, these data centers are the most detestable things to have in your community. I don't understand. There's got to be a long form piece or a deep dive into these data centers somewhere that I can read and all of us can understand. But they bring communities together. You could have a right winger and a left. They use up all the resources. Yeah. Apparently, they make a humming noise if you're close enough to some of these places that would drive a person insane, destroy your home value. Obviously, is always the question about these. Why can't they put them in the middle of nowhere if they must build them? Because it doesn't seem like they're very popular, and I feel like I keep reading about communities coming together to reject these data centers.
They are. But I think it's not just the reality of the data center. And you're right. They have noise. They will increase the cost of electricity. The water usage isn't as bad, I think, as is sometimes painted, but there's that issue too. And why the hell they put them in Arizona, I don't know. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, has proposed this mega one, bigger than any of the others in Utah, and they're fighting him. But I think it's a totem for the distrust of AI and technology people and Silicon Valley right now. And I wrote about this the other day. It took 3 decades to really get the techlash to the internet and social media. It's taken about 3 years to get it for AI.
It's a pretty interesting comparison. Why is that? Because one looks more promising and useful and helps our lives more than it hurts our lives, and one seems to scare people a lot more. What I'm trying to understand why
part of it is the great George Bush line, "Fool me once," and people. How did he mess that up? I can't remember.
Fool me once, fool me again, fool me twice, and then I have to fool me one more time. I don't know. I forget what he said, but it was bad. It was pretty bad for him.
Yeah, it was. So I think people feel burned by the internet and social media. They feel burned by companies like Meta. And I think that the AI boys are awful. I mean, the trial of Altman versus Musk was Godzilla versus Mothra in the Tokyo Bay. You don't know who wants to lose, right? And the people who are behind them, like Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen, people can't stand. And then there's the various moral entrepreneurs who want to make money off of scaring people. And it's just all horrible and yucky. We don't want them to be in charge of the future. And they're acting like they are, that they're the sole proprietors of the future. You have Anthropic now, which has some of these doomers in it, saying, we're so powerful. We are so powerful. We have this mythos model that's so powerful. We can't even release it. And we think that all companies should halt development of AI once we get our IPO done and once we've gotten our most powerful model in. And then we're going to pull the ladder up after us onto the Zeppelin and fly off into the night. And so, again, I'm a nerd. I've been covering technology for years. I'm going to edit a book series about technology, Intelligence, AI and Humanity for Bloomsbury Academic coming up next year. There's the plug. So I'm fascinated with this. There are people I like in the field. I think Jensen Huang at NVIDIA is interesting. Jan LeCun at Ami Labs and NYU is really good. There are good people. There are brilliant people who are working in the field. But there are also a bunch of really obnoxious brats that I think the public can't stand, and they resent their incredible wealth. They resent their power. There's nothing they can do politically against the jerks who are in charge of us in Washington. So they're bringing some of their anger, I think, to Silicon Valley, where they maybe have more power. And they're behind, the fact that Peter Thiel is behind J.D. Vance. It's a new digital industrial complex. Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot to think about, and I love hearing you talk about it, reading you write about it, and excited for the new book. What do you think has changed since Colbert has disappeared?
Good question. I think he's missed. I think it's a void.
Yeah.
But I just wait to see what he's going to do next.
A lot of other shows that are doing similar things. Seth Meyers, John Oliver, obviously.
Yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel.
they're good, and they'll keep it going. And the only hope we have is humor.
That's right.
I say to you.
That's right.
Man.
Yes. Well said. I love it. All right. Well, I always enjoy these chats. I learn a lot from your perspective. I didn't ask you. I should have asked you before we started because I don't know if you have any perspective, but are you paying attention to this Graham Plattner and the controversy surrounding
I want to ask you about that one.
Candidacy.
If you lived in, I'll start this way. If you lived in Maine, would you vote for him?
Listen, it's so hard because I think the math of winning the Senate, I don't know how you win back the Senate without him. And it's almost like you've got to vote for him so that Democrats, I don't buy he's going to be a Fetterman, or I hate these comparisons. I don't buy that he's not going to do a good job. I'm not sure he's a great guy or has been a good guy to women in the past.
Right.
But, someone had a really good observation about at least the texting and so on. If you want to elect young people, we should prepare ourselves to tolerate some pretty sketchy things that you might have written online, because everybody's going to have
something.
Absolutely. And
it disappeared into the ether in the past, and now it's written and in stone.
I have a certain, I don't know, he and his wife seem to have a really good relationship right now. She's gone to bat for him, and but one of the women accusing him is an operative, a GOP operative who once was the head of women for Brett Kavanaugh, which I thought was pretty weird. But she did have a relationship with Graham Plattner apparently. So, I don't like the guy. I mean, the idea is if you care about women's reproductive rights, if you care about anything that women need access to, healthcare, opportunity, that Senate seat has to be a Democrat and not Susan Collins.
It does. What fascinates me, Pete, is that we have, and he's not the only one, but at this moment when the attention is on this flawed human being, who's a Democrat, and we are worrying about it, and we're tearing our hair out about it, and
I'm not.
We're wondering what to do. Republicans are nothing but flawed human beings, extremely flawed human beings, worse human beings, and they don't give a damn.
Certainly not.
So the question is, can we tolerate one flawed human being to get where we need to go? Yeah, I'd have asked women this too. If you lived in Maine, would you vote for Plattner? And the answer generally is sigh. Yeah.
Well, I think you're right about that, but I'll leave it up to Maine's women to decide.
Yes.
I just heard from a woman in Maine. She's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "What do you think?" What?
Yeah. All right, I got to say one more thing.
Oh, what do you got?
I just got the copies of my book.
Oh, hey, look at that. How exciting. Turn it around. Let me see its full body. Oh, wow. Very exciting. I love the cover.
I should have reversed the image here.
I love the cover.
Hot Type, out in August from Bloomsbury, so you can order it now.
Order it now.
JeffJarvis.com.
I'll go to JeffJarvis.com. I'll put a link in the notes just in case. But congratulations. I look forward to getting my copy and getting it signed and talking about
the list. Yep.
Thank you very much, Jeff. All right, there he goes, everybody. The Jarvis. You've been Jarvis, Jeff Jarvis. Always love it. Great conversation, as always, getting his perspective on so many issues, including all these AI and tech stuff. I was not paying attention to the AI IPOs, but now I am. Are you getting in? Are you? I think you are, probably. I don't know if you are. If you are, let me know. Maybe I'll get in. Bring on the doom together. Okay, thank you very much for being here. Again, I don't know if my schedule, what'll it be like consistently this week because Ava's out, and I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with her, as you know. So I appreciate your support and patience. and be back on the regular format tomorrow, if not the next day, if not the day after. All right, that's it. That's all, you bumblebees. Thanks for being here all the way to the end. You're the very, very best. John Carroll taking us out as always.
When the tyrants taunt you and the sirens teach you, better stand up. Stand up. Let the brave meet the challenge, let the weak flee. Oh, you better stand up. Stand up. When you're tired of begging, saying pretty please, that's the time you gotta finally get up off of your knees. When you can't see the forest for the burning trees, you got to stand up. Hey, you've been sitting so long, you got the creaky knees, you got to stand up. Stand up. I think you're driving wheels with leaking grease. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Well, there's a whole lot more of us who know what's right. They'll keep right on ignoring us if we keep sitting tight. You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. You got to let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear when all you hear is a lie. Don't get up off of your butt, down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, well, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up. Stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up. Stand up. You know they can't deny you what you're laying down. Oh, you better stand up. Stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. This is the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up. Stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up. They had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of a stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for laws, and since they weren't even sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change would begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. We gotta let him know it's his time to go, and make it clear when all we hear is a lie. Why you lying awake wondering where the money all went? It'll be the cost of freedom that'll go unspent. You can see him flee the scene of that experiment if you stand up. All right. We got to speak up, we got to reach up, and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show obedience to the voice inside, and listen well and it'll tell you not to run and hide. It says stand up.